going to show you how to make this little ring. And I made it a little large. It's even a little big for my hand. But I was going to start with this component making earrings, and then I decided it looked more like a ring. So when I started my video, I said use just a wingspan of thread. Well, I want you to use a wingspan and a half to 2 wingspans to do this, just to make sure you have enough when you're doing your band and doing the last embellishment in your band, the little 15-0 I added. You'll see as you watch it. But anyway, make sure that you add more thread than it's called for in the beginning of the video. A wingspan and a half would be good. And this is what we're going to make. And I haven't named it yet. I guess I have to think of something before I put the video on. But there you have it. And let's look and see what we need to make this project. Okay, for this project, we are going to use 11 0 seed beads and 15-0 seed beads. I'm using a Toho in both of mine. So this is Starlight Toho, and this is a metallic bronze Toho. This is a 15-0 and this is an 11-0. You will also need some 4x6 glass pearls. These are rice pearls, and they're glass, and you will need some of those. You will also need some 3mm Bicone crystals, and this is a air blue Swarovski. You will also need a 12mm round Rivoli. And the Rivoli I'm using is violet. I don't remember the name of it. It is a Swarovski, but it's a violet tone, and so are the pearls. They're violet. You will also need a size 12 beading needle and some 6-pound Fireline. Now you can use a size 8 or 8-pound Fireline with a size 10 needle. However, it gets very difficult traveling through the Bicone crystals, which we do travel through a couple of times to bezel the Rivoli. So I recommend that you use 6-pound and a size 12 beading needle. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, to start this project, you will pick up onto your needle a series of 3 11-0s and 1 3mm Bicone crystal 6 times. So you will start with 3 little 11-0 seed beads, and then you'll pick up a Bicone crystal, and then 3 11-0 seed beads and a Bicone crystal. You will do this until you have 6 Bicone crystals on your thread. You will start with the 11-0s and end with a Bicone, just like this. Then you will bring these down to the end of your thread. Start with about a wingspan of thread. You may not need that much, but let's do that anyway since we sew through these so many times. And then bring these down to the end of your thread. Leave a couple of inches, maybe an inch, whatever, to hold on to. And then sew back up through all of your beads from the tail side. So I'm going to go back up. I'm just holding these in a circle, and I'm going to sew back up into all of the beads. I'll just sew up through a few first so that I can hold on to them and pull them in a circle so they won't fall off my thread, like this. And now I'll just continue sewing until I get all the way back to where my tail is. Just don't pull hard because you'll pull your tail through and you'll lose all your little beads. So just keep going until you get all the way back to where you started. This is where my tail is, so I'm going to pull this into a circle nice now. Tighten it up like this. It's like this. And now I'm going to sew, I'm just going to sew a bead over. So I'm going to exit this little Bicone crystal, the little 3mm Bicone crystal. So I'm going to go through these 11-0s right here and exit my Bicone. So once you are exiting your little Bicone crystal right here, you're going to pick up 3 11-0 seed beads onto your needle, like this. We're coming out of this side of this bicone. We're going to go into the opposite side of the bicone without including either the side bead, the 11 O's on either side of it. And we're going to pull these down. Now, this is where things can get loose, so you'll just pull on your tail and your working thread and tighten it up a little bit. Don't tighten it so tight that you can't get between the beads, but tighten it back up as it loosens. And then pick up 3 more 11O seed beads, and you're going to do the exact same thing in the same crystal. So you're coming out of this side, we're going to go back into it on the opposite side, like so, and pull these down around. And I'm going to tighten everything up, and then after I come through the crystal, I'm going to go down through the next 3 11O seed beads and into my next crystal and exit it. And then I'll make sure everything is good, no slack anywhere, and I'll pick up 3 more 11O seed beads, and I will do the exact same thing. So we are coming out of this side of the crystal, we're going to go into the opposite side of the crystal. And then we're going to pull the beads down around the crystal, just like this. Then we're going to pick up 3 more 11O seed beads and do the same thing again. So we're just going to go in the opposite side of the crystal, avoiding the 11Os on either side of the crystal, and pull them down. Try not to cross your threads too much. Try to keep them, the new ones either in front or in back of the ones you already put on, like this. And then go down into the next 3 and exit the next bicone. And do the same thing again. 3 11O seed beads, go to the opposite side of the crystal, go through the crystal and pull the beads down. Then pick up 3 more 11O seed beads, go to the opposite side, go through the crystal, avoiding the 11Os on either side, and pull your beads down. And then again, travel through the 11O seed beads until you get down to the next bicone crystal and exit it. It's kind of hard to hold on to when you very first start, but once we get going, it'll get a little better. Then pick up 3 11O seed beads, go into the opposite side of the crystal, pull them down, pick up 3 more 11O seed beads, go into the crystal again on the opposite side, pull your beads down, slide into the next 11Os. And then again, we will do the same thing. 3 11O seed beads, go into the opposite side of the crystal, and pull the beads down, like so. 3 11O seed beads, into the opposite side, and pull the beads down. And we're going to travel over to the next one. And this is where our tail is, so just move it out of the way and pick up your 3 11Os. Go into the opposite side of the crystal, and then again 3 11Os into the opposite side of the crystal, and this time you can also go into the 3 11O seed beads and the next crystal, like so, and pull these beads down. Going through the next 3 11O seed beads and then exiting this crystal is going to help secure the circle so that you don't have to worry about pulling on the tail so much anymore to secure your circle. So now we're coming out of the crystal. What we're going to do is we're going to go into this top section of 11 seed beads that we just added, or that we added in our last step. We're going to go into this one and exit it. So let's get just a little closer. So we're going to sew up into the first one. So you don't want to get your other set, just the one of the sets, and then you'll go into the second bead in that set of 3 and exit it, just like this. Now we are going to go from just top bead to top bead in each one of these top little 3 bead sections on top of our crystals. So we're going to pick up a 15 seed bead, an 11 seed bead, and a 15 seed bead. And we're just going to go from this top bead to this top bead and pull it through. Oops. Turn my work back over, like so. And then 15 seed bead. Come here. 11 seed bead, 15 seed bead, and we're coming out of this little top bead right here. We're going to go into the top bead in the top section of the 3 11 on the next crystal. And then again, we will pick up a 15 11 15 and slide over to the next one. And we will continue doing this all the way around. 15 11 15 into the top bead in the next section of 3. And then again 15 11 15 into the next top bead. And then again 15 11 15 and then into the top bead that we started in. And we can also go into the 15 and the 11 and the 15 after that. So we're just securing it into the first set that we did, and we're going to go all the way around again. So let's get close so you can see. So I went through the 11 and then I went through the set of 15 11 15 and then into the next 11 and now we're just going to sew all the way around the entire little section we just added to secure it. Don't miss any beads. Make sure you go into the anchoring 11 and you just want to keep traveling around until you get all the way back to where you started. And then once you get back to where you started, I'm going to go one more just to get away from that tail. You're going to exit the 11 right here, the one that you anchored your 15 11 15 sections to. Now we're going to sew back into the 11 right underneath that 11 So this was the top 11 in your little 3 11 on top of the crystals. We're going to sew back down into the side one here and pull. Turn the piece over and then go into the crystal that you're right next to and just exit the crystal. And then I'm going to cut this tail off. I'm going to leave a little bit of length. It's a little too much length. My scissors are too dull to get it any shorter though. And then I'm just going to burn this down just to get it out of my way. I don't want it to clog any of my beads, so I'm just going to leave it right there. And then I'm coming out of the crystal right here. We're going to sew up into the side arm here of the 3 little beads on top of the crystals. And then we're going to sew into the top bead on top of the crystals here. So now we are going to pick up a Rivoli and we're going to put the bottom into the part we just created. So this is what you should have, just like this. Now we are going to pick up just an air blue opal crystal, or whatever color you have, a 3mm round crystal. I'm going to back off a little. And we're just going to go from top bead to top bead again in each one of these little sections of 3 11-0 seed beads. We're not going to add 15 O's this time, just the opal, or just the 3mm round, excuse me. And just go into the next bead. We'll bend these over, and then we'll just pick up another one. And make sure that whatever way you were exiting from your little 11-0, that you're going the same direction to the next 11-0. So don't cross over the top of the bead and go to the next one. It won't lay right if you do that. Then just go into the next one, pick up another crystal, go into the next 11-0 in the top bead in the section of 3 on top of your crystals. And again, pick up another 3mm round crystal. Let me get in frame here. And go into the next one, like so. And you can just pull them down on top. They won't be tight right now, but just pull them down so that they start to bend the way we want them to, so that we can bezel this crystal here. And then pick up another 3mm round, go into the next 11-0, and then I'm going to pick up one more, and I'm going to go into the little 11-0 I started in, and the crystal next to it, and the 11-0 after that. And I'm going to pull these down tight over my Rivoli, like this. Now we're going to sew back through all of these to tighten them. This is a really easy way to bezel this little 12mm Rivoli here. It turns out really pretty too. Just continue sewing around the top until you get all the way around. Take your time, because as you pull these, if you pull them funny, the back of it will loosen. So you want the back to be centered around the Rivoli. You don't want it to pull to one side or the other. So just do it slowly and keep going around. Once you get all the way around, then you will exit an 11-0 between the crystals here. I'll show you. I'm going to give it one good pull, and then I'm exiting 11-0 between the crystals right there. I'm going to go into the side arm of the original unit of 3 here of the 11-0s, and then I'm going to go into the crystal. This is where it gets tight. This is why you need to use a smaller thread and needle. We're going to go into this crystal and exit it. And it's a little tricky to do because the 11-0s want to be in the way. Right here. So I'm going to exit this crystal, and I'm going to pull my thread and make sure I set the crystals on top so that they don't spread away from the 11-0s. And that's what that should look like right there. Now I'm coming out of this Bicone crystal right here. I'm going to pick up 3 more 11-0 seed beads. I'm going to go into the opposite side of the Bicone and the 3 11-0s behind it. So I only got 2, but I'll pick up the third one. And I'm going to pull these down around the bicone. And then I'm going to go into this next 11-0. Then I'm going to exit the crystal right here. And we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to pick up 3 11-0 seed beads. And we're going to go into the opposite side of the crystal. And you can go into the 3 11-0s on the other side of it too, or as many as you can get. I only got 1, so I have to go into the next 2. And then go into my crystal right here. Oops, just the crystal. And I'll pick up my 3 11-0s, go around, go into the next crystal. All the way around, we'll put 3 11-0 seed beads on top of each crystal in the same manner, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I went all the way around, putting my 3 11-0 seed beads on top of each crystal. Now I'm coming out of the last crystal after putting on my last 3 11-0 seed beads. Now I am going to sew up, actually I'm going to sew into the next 3 11-0s and then into the next crystal and exit just to secure that last embellishment. So we'll sew over, exit the next crystal, and then once we exit the next crystal, let's get close, we are going to climb up these little 11-0s and we're going to exit the top one. So we'll go into this one and we'll exit the top one right there, just like this. Now, let me back off again. We are going to put an embellishment with our rice pearls on now, and we'll use 15-0s also. So we'll pick up a 15-0, a rice pearl, and a 15-0, like this. And we will slide from this top bead to this top bead in our little 3 seed beads on top of each crystal, just like this. And we'll do this all the way around. 15-0, pearl, 15-0, into the next top bead, like this. These are going to fall underneath as you tighten the tension. They're going to kind of fall underneath the crystals, so it'll kind of start to dome a little bit. Pick up a 15-0, and then a pearl and a 15-0, and go into the next one. Pull it tight. Pick up a 15-0, a pearl, and a 15-0, and pull. Into the next one, 15-0, pearl. They just argue with me so much anymore. And a 15-0. Go into the next one. Now you want to make sure that they go underneath. You don't want them to pull on top of your piece here. Pick up a 15-0, a pearl, and a 15-0. And then you'll go into the bead you started in, here, the 11-0 here, and we'll also go into the 15-0 and then the pearl on the other side of it. Now, we have to sew around this a couple times because this is not stable. So we have to go through the 15-0 and the 11-0 here, and then all the way around each bead. Don't miss any. Go through all the 15-0s, all the 11-0s, and sew around this piece, pulling it tight. Sew around twice, and we'll be back. Okay, so I've sewn all the way around a couple of times just to stabilize this entire piece. Once you feel like it's stable and it's not going to pull apart, then go ahead and between the beads here, to keep this nice and tight, let's tie a little tiny knot. So I'm going to just pull this down until I can go through and tie a half hitch knot here without it going on top of my beads. I want it to go down between my beads. And then I'm going to sew into the beads again right next to it. So I'll go all the way through these little 11 15 sections and tighten up just like this. And that's what you should have. And here you will pick up an 11 seed bead and then a rice pearl, actually two 11 seed beads, excuse me, a rice pearl, and two 11 seed beads, and you will go into the opposite side of the pearl. So we're exiting, excuse me, come here, we're exiting this little pearl here. We're going to go into the opposite side of it and pull these beads together like this. And then we're going to sew up around these beads again just to secure them. So we'll sew this way, up these two 11 into the pearl that we just added, into the 11 and then we will go back into the pearl that is on the piece, like so. Now we will sew back down the two 11 on this side here. Oops, if I can get into them. And then we'll go back into the rice pearl. And we'll continue doing the same thing, and we'll secure it each time also. So we'll do the same thing until we get enough length to go around our finger. So we'll pick up two 11 seed beads, and then a rice pearl, and two 11 seed beads, like so. You're coming out of this side of the pearl, we'll go into the opposite side of the pearl, pull it down. I'm going to turn my work over. I'm going to sew back through the beads I just added to secure them, like so. And then go back up to the top bead and repeat the steps that we just did. So we will pick up two more 11 seed beads. We'll do one more of these, and then we'll do the rest off camera. So pick up two 11 seed beads, a rice pearl, two 11 seed beads, and then go into the opposite side of the pearl you're exiting. Up the two 11 on one side, into the pearl, back into the 11 back into the pearl that you started in, and then back down into the pearl you just added. And you're going to continue doing this until you have enough length to wrap around your finger. You can just test it. You can also test it on a ring mandrel, of course. If you want it to be a certain size, then you will get out your ring mandrel and you will just lay it on. Say you want a size 7, you'll lay it on until this will go all the way around to meet to this opposite one on this side. So continue doing that, or of course try it on your finger until you get enough for your finger, and then we'll be back and we'll join it to the other side. Okay, so I have made 10 units of the two little 11 seed beads, the pearl, and two 11 So basically our ladder stitches that we're doing. And I have measured it just one bead short of how big I want it to be around my finger. So I'm just real close right here. And how I'm going to connect this now is I'm going to pick up two 11 seed beads, and then I'm coming out of this side. Let's get a little closer here. I'm coming out of this side of my pearl here. I'm going to go into the same side of the opposite pearl on my ring here, on the face of my ring. I'm going to go into the same side that I'm coming out on this one and go through the bead like this and pull it around. And then I'm going to pick up 2 more 11-0 seed beads, and I'm going to go into this side here. So basically the same stitch, you just already have your second bead on your ring. Now, this is what this will look like. We're going to sew through this several times. So I'm going to go up through these 11-0s, back through the bead on my ring, and then back through the 11-0s, and then back through the bead here. Now I'm going to see how this fits. Now this is just a little bit big, so what I'm going to do is once I have secured this, I'm going to sew through it one more time here. I'm going to put a bead between each of these 11-0s to tighten it a little bit. So let's pull this together real well. And then I'm exiting these 2 little 11-0s right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my needle through. Sorry guys, I'm just not coordinated right now. And I'm going to pick up an 11-0 seed bead and put it through like this. And actually, I don't think I want to put 11-0 in there. I want to tighten this, so I'm going to put a 15-0 so that I'll pull these nice and tight. And make sure still how it's fitting here. It's just a little loose. So yeah, if you want to leave it like this, that's fine. But if you want to tighten it just a little bit, which I do, and I want to close up these beads between each unit, I'm coming out of the 2 11-0s, so I'll just start picking up 15-0s, and I'll just put a 15-0 right between these 2 11-0s. And I'll do this until I get to the other side, and then I'll sew through the bead on the ring and go to the opposite side and do the same thing over there. So just put a 15-0 between each unit of 2 11-0s all the way to the end, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I've gone all the way around doing my 15-0s between my 11-0s. I'm coming out of the last 2 11-0s here after putting my 15-0 between the sets of 11-0s. I'm going to go through the pearl on the ring, on the face of the ring, and then I'm going to go down through the first 2 11-0s on the opposite side, and I'm going to put a 15-0 between each set of 2 on this side. And when we get all the way to the end, we'll be back. So just continue putting 15-0s all the way around. Okay, so I have finished going all the way around on the opposite side here now, and it has sufficiently tightened my ring a little bit. It doesn't tighten it much, just a little bit, and it draws it in so that it fits around your finger nicely. And this is a wide band, so if you have very tiny fingers, you may not want to do this type of band. You could do something else, maybe the same stitch with rounds or something. But I find this to work out just fine with my hands. Of course, I have pretty good sized hands. So now I'm coming out of this 11-0 here. I'm going to, after putting in my last 15-0, I'm going to go up through the pearl right here. I'm going to make sure everything is tight, and I'm going to grab a half hitch knot right on this little thread bridge right here. So I'm just going to go around. And make sure that it goes down between the beads, and then I'm going to go back through the pearl again, and I'm just going to sew around my ring a little bit. So I will go into this 15-0 here right on the other side of the pearl and into these 11-0s. Okay, right there. And then I'll just sew all the way around. I'll do a half-inch knot here and there and just keep sewing around the outside until I feel like it's very secure. I'll cut off my thread, melt it down with a lighter, and we'll be back. So I sewed around and tied off my thread, and this is what it looks like on the hand. Let's back off just a little bit so you can see. That's what it looks like. This is what the back of it looks like. This is what the inside of the back looks like. If I can show you. The band is in the way too badly. Like this. Anyway, it's kind of recessed down in the middle. So with these little pearls coming out or coming down as we tightened them, they domed, that kind of levels everything out so that the point of your Rivoli doesn't lay on your finger. The pearls lay on your finger. It kind of fits this one too. So that's what it looks like. And I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.